Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trail Mix, where the nuts might be a little stale, but the company is always fresh.
The world fractured. A new global order emerges, dominated by three powers.
Stop calling Trump's foreign policy chaos. It's actually a map. He told Putin do whatever the hell he wants in Europe. He told Taiwan pay up like it's an insurance policy. China gets Asia and the Americas. Well, that becomes Trump's personal fortress. We're breaking down the New World Order live. Craig Crawford here, a retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks, and I'm pleased that Sturwilliger today, or Sturwilliger, is on here today. You ready for the New World Order?
I'm ready, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's a kooky theory? I mean, I've tried to make sense of, and this might be a mistake, of what Trump does, and what's consistent to me about his philosophy is he wants to own the Americas. He wants Putin to get Russia and the China to get Asia. And that's what it looks like to me.
You know, it probably is what it looks like. It looks that way.
It's like the old, if they tell you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, it's
Oh, look here! I know you used to be a fan. Look here, what I got.
who that?
Can you see that? Can you see that?
Imus.
that's
What's
my mug
after it? Ranch.
Imus Ranch.
How you get that?
Ribera, New Mexico. I was on set one time on his show, and Charles McCord gave that to me. He was there, and he was drinking one of these, and what got my attention about it was this huge handle.
Right.
See how big that is?
Yeah,
you don't get that on a lot of coffee cup. You don't get that on a lot of coffee cup. Anyway, so I saw Charles. He had it, and I said, it wasn't so much the insignia. I said, that handle. I got all focused on it. I said, that handle. That's the biggest handle I've ever seen on a coffee cup. I want one. And so after the show, after I left, when I went out to leave, one of the assistants came out and gave me two of these. And he said, Charles said you like these. He wanted you to have this.
Yay, Charles.
I saw something the other day about where he talked about why he left. I can't remember now what it was all about, but
yeah, I've seen glimpses of it, and I knew it was a thing, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but he left a couple of years before Imus was done.
Oh yeah, he had the young Fox guy going with him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they had that woman too.
He was good though. He filled in for old Charles.
Yeah,
he did good. I can't remember his name.
I can't either. They had but Charles was just such a great part of that show, and I love when he would go, when he'd suddenly, his temper would flare and he'd go wild and something. That was quite a show.
I got some old tapes that when he was on C-SPAN way back, prepping for being on TV, I guess. They would show his radio show on C-SPAN.
You mean Charles McCord or Imus?
Well, the Imus show, Imus in the morning.
The Imus show, yeah. There's a lot of YouTube clips from it.
Oh, yeah. I tried to find Olivia Nuzzi because I saw her on there one time.
Oh, is that right?
But,
the one who's been in the news?
Like it. Yeah. She didn't like it, and she didn't come back. I don't know what it was.
Oh, it didn't go well.
Yeah. Well, it went all right, but I think she kind of felt it was a bunch of silliness, or something like that. But she never came back.
I mean, she's
But
the
it was
one who had
interesting.
the.
I noticed her.
She's the one that had the affair on with RFK Jr., right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, and
I'm
Oldham was
on
a
live
long
on
time.
YouTube right now.
Are you?
You can click me there. Click and come on and talk there. That's my Trump supporter
Mm.
who I argue with all the time. He was my agent back when I was doing TV stuff. He's in New York. He's a Republican, and I can't. I try to cure him, but he's a longtime Republican, and I of all the con jobs Trump's pulled, the one that amazes me is, business conservatives like this friend of mine who are not MAGA or cultural conservatives. They're just they want small government, and they just don't see how they're getting conned by Trump. I mean, for one thing, he's spending more money than Biden. I looked up the numbers this week.
No.
I don't understand why some of these sensible, intelligent, the MAGA people I can sort of figure, how.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand it.
I know that's right.
I've got a thing here about go to Denmark real quick. The Danes. Well, I got into a little more of it. What's going on in Europe? They're figuring out that they've lost us. Listen to what they're saying here about the Danish people.
New polling data has revealed that nearly half of Danes now view the United States as a threat, and 3/4 oppose the sale of Greenland. The research by YouGov comes after weeks of tensions between Denmark, Greenland and the US over Donald Trump's repeated assertions that he plans to take control of the autonomous territory, which is part of the Danish kingdom. The YouGov survey found that 46% of Danes believe the US poses a very big or fairly big threat, surpassing concerns about North Korea or Iran. 78% said that they would oppose Greenland being sold to the US, but 72% said the final decision should be Greenland's, not Denmark's. An opinion poll published earlier this week found that 85% of Greenlanders did not want the territory to become part of the US. The Arctic island is home to 57,000 people, and it is an autonomous territory of Denmark, though its foreign and security policies are controlled by Copenhagen.
So the Danish think we're a security threat.
I would think so, yeah. Yeah, I don't see how it wouldn't be.
Jack. Oh, Jack's you got an interesting hat on today.
It's my Mrs. Jack made this hat for me. And really? We did it at a Halloween function, and we went, I think, as Boris and Natasha or something like that.
Well, we got Stir on here today.
International Spies.
Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Surgeon?
Hey, he's all right.
But so what's your ideas here?
Who?
Whoop. Is Craig froze up? Looks like.
Craig, are you there?
Now,
well,
it happens. I noticed the other day he was having problems, and every once in a while it'll something will freeze up, or he'll be playing with something on the side and cause problems. Yep, there he's gone.
Yeah. There I'm back now.
Okay.
I don't know. It froze on me, and I had to reload.
That's
I'm reloaded.
That's the modern world.
It's frozen.
And I don't think any amount of AI is going to fix it.
Apparently not. You talk about my idea. Here's what I'm pushing today is my three kings theory, the trisphere, my trisphere, three kings theory of what Trump's world order is all about. I'll play it again here. It's just 30 seconds for Jack to tear apart. You can tear this idea apart if you want. Maybe you agree with
the world fractured. A new global order emerges, dominated by three powers.
Stop calling Trump's foreign policy chaos. It's actually a map. He told Putin do whatever the hell he wants in Europe. He told Taiwan pay up like it's an insurance policy. China gets Asia and the Americas. Well, that becomes Trump's personal fortress. We're breaking down the new world order live.
Well, here's my thought is I think I have observed this. I did a little research today just to make sure I knew what I was talking about. But
no, we don't do that.
One is the one thing Trump does is he's treating Europe like New York City or any other blue state, California or whatever. And so you have that problem. I think you're right in that he's elevating Putin far higher than Putin should be. I don't think, Putin
I think he's given Putin more than Putin actually in the short term was trying to get. He's giving him all of Europe, not just Ukraine.
Somewhat. I mean, Europe's got a say in that one, but yeah, he's basically just stepping back and telling Putin to do whatever he wants. But Putin has pulled back considerably from what he was doing 10 years ago in the world. He's
pulled back.
Yeah, he's not down in the Middle East like he was causing problems.
In the Middle East, yeah.
And, in other areas, he's very much concentrated right there in that, draw a little circle around from Moscow to Kiev, and that's his whole sphere of influence right now.
Well, but politically in the rest of Europe, he's so active in trying to get members of parliament elected in places like Estonia, even the Netherlands, Italy. Politically, he's very active, not militarily, but as he is here. I mean, I think that's where Trump, members of our House.
That's where Trump and Putin kind of, if you do the little, circle, Venn diagram circles, where they come together is right there in the right-wing parties in Europe. And they're both supporting them. And
then the other part of my theory is it makes sense for what Trump's doing we'll start with Venezuela, but even the stuff that he said about Greenland and Canada. He has this worldview that Europe belongs to Russia, Asia belongs to China, and all of the Americas belong to me. I think that's his worldview.
Yep, very 19th century.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a very limited view. In that previously, basically, the United States, after World War II, viewed that they owned the world.
Yeah. So now something's going on today with the Epstein story, they're releasing a bunch of photos, and I'm gonna go take a look here and see what this is all about. There's something like 75,000 photos have been released, and I think MS is talking about it.
Donald Trump surrounded by women who have their faces redacted, which may or may not be an indication that they're some of the Epstein survivors. Where was that photograph taken? Why was it taken? Testimony from the women involved, to the extent that they're able to testify, would be very important. Right now, we have a lot of question marks. What we need and what the survivors deserve are answers to have a fuller understanding.
I guess we got to figure out
what's happening in these photographs. And because many of these people are public figures, from the president on down, it's a critical inquiry for the public, too, to get answers in.
Again, we don't know who these women are in the pictures. Eric, we do know many survivors have called publicly for the truth to come out, for there to be all the files on display, but for their privacy to be respected. The Justice Department has this deadline next Friday to release all the files it has, thanks to that law Congress passed just recently.
So anyway, that's a bunch of, they've got 75, I think they said 75,000 photos from the Epstein estate. Now, this is not the records that Trump has control of that have been released.
Just stuff he had stuck back in the closet, huh?
Right. That's the only thing we've been getting so far.
Yeah. Well, well, my opinion on that one is
you've never cared.
Yeah. It is of importance only in the fact that it basically feeds right into the MAGA belief that the elites aren't like the rest of us. And of course, it also feeds into left-wing belief, the same belief.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of these photos are going to be Democrats. Which is
basically what they released here, 3 or 4 weeks ago, showed everybody going and kissing his ass, because he had big money to donate. And so they made him, flattered him as much as they could just to get the money, which doesn't look pretty in hindsight now.
Where did I have that on? You still there, Stir?
Right here, yes.
Okay. I'll make sure I didn't lose you.
If you lose me, excuse me.
Oh, here it is. I was going to getting back to Europe. Here's a real. This is a channel that I follow. It's the German public television English. Germany has an English language public television channel, which is really pretty good.
Well, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is also vowing to increase pressure on Russia and to push for long-term support for Ukraine. Merz has been holding talks with the NATO chief, Mark Rutte, in Berlin. He says that European leaders have told Trump that only Ukraine can decide on its own borders in any peace deal. DW's chief political correspondent Nina Haase asked the German Chancellor about concerns over apparently waning U.S. support for Europe.
At the moment, I have no reason to doubt the agreements we have made with the United States of America within the NATO alliance.
Notice how he says at the moment that we have no reason to believe.
I think it's interesting what Europe Europe is so used to us taking the lead.
Yeah.
That they have built all their institutions around that. And now we're not taking the lead. And at some point, somebody in Europe's going to step up and say, and I think challenge Putin and actually decide, okay, we're going to risk our military. I don't know that Europe will still be comfortable with Germany doing that.
But, yeah, I mean, and they're doing that. I mean, they are stepping up. They're realizing it, that they've got to do that.
And that's part of the problem. They have so much history amongst each other that with that nobody quite trusts the other one to, any particular nation, and they don't have an institution. They don't have a European army that could go in and do something in let's say, like Ukraine. So
this guy here, they talked to Ian Bremmer. I don't know if you ever. I pay a lot of attention to him. They set him up here. He had some.
We begin the day with what looks like an attempt by U.S. President Trump to undermine relations with Europe. In an interview with Politico, which this week also declared Trump the most influential man in Europe, the U.S. president dismisses the continent as decaying and weak, as a place that he...
This is also that channel I was talking about. It's called DW News. It's the German public
and there you go, where he's describing Europe exactly like he describes. In fact, he was describing London the other day, and he was almost using the same words that he was using to describe New York City.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's all a real estate. It's not geopolitics to him. It's just all real estate transactions. Yeah.
Well, that's something else I think you miss is the importance of the Gulf state sovereign wealth funds for Trump.
Yeah. Yep.
They have an undue influence over our foreign policy.
Well, they're trying to buy CNN right now.
Yep.
That Paramount deal that they're talking about, where Paramount's that Ellison guy, well, the money he's getting, there are 5, including Jared Kushner's fund, which is all the money comes from the sovereign wealth fund in Saudis. There's a total of 5 Middle Eastern sovereign funds that are part of the financing package for that hostile takeover of the parent company of CNN. That's why it's all about buying CNN. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, if Trump has anything to do with it, he's going to help him. He's already said that.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a little long what I was reading. I think I posted a link to it here 3 or 4 weeks ago, where the guy was talking about the MSNBC or whatever they call themselves now.
MS Now.
Their average age is somewhere in, on Social Security. And very few, that as far as their influence in the world, it's almost negligible. And I think
except for the fact when people criticize CNN or MSEO for the age group of their view, well, it also happens to be the age that votes. So that doesn't make them useless. I mean, that they reach older voters.
Well, but it means older people are the ones who vote. And that's what you're doing here is almost what the New World media order is. There's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things on different mediums.
Well, I remember back when the internet got started, and somebody made the point that someday, it seemed like such a fantastical idea, but that someday everyone would have their own channel. Well, that's what's happened.
It just
theory about someday everybody would have their own church.
Their own church.
Yeah, in the backyard, or where. Church of Fred.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of that way. Thanksgiving, I was sitting there watching my nieces and nephews. And it was after dinner, instead of everybody sitting there chatting, everybody got their phone out and started doing their own thing right there,
Yeah.
4 or 5 people sitting there around in the living room, and not a one of them connecting with anybody in the room.
Yeah. I had a friend years ago who was like that, and we were having lunch, and he just suddenly got on his phone. I actually worked with him, and he got on his phone, was doing that. So I got on my phone and I texted to him, "Get off your fucking phone and talk to me." He said, "Oh, sorry."
Well, I guess I don't do my phone that much. My phone right now is sitting back in my bedroom. And I may go check on it and see if anybody needs me. But
Stir, you still doing woodwork? I haven't seen you post any woodworking photos on Trail Mix in a while.
No, my eyes are going away, so I kind of got past it.
Well,
so what's your problem with your eyes?
Macular degeneration.
Oh, my dad had that. Now, do you have the cure? You have the curable or the incurable?
Incurable.
He had the incurable. Yeah, he had the incurable.
Yeah.
I had an aunt. She was a librarian, and she got that to where she couldn't even, which makes the modern world a little better for her because she could at least have the audio books.
Yeah, I got to look into that.
Well, now my dad, one thing about it was that that type that he had is that it doesn't actually get worse. Has that been your experience? Because it didn't. I mean, once he got it, it got to a point where it didn't actually get worse. It was still bad, but I mean, it just didn't get worse. I mean, that's one thing they told him is the bad news is we can't cure it. The good news is it won't get any worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I haven't found, I've been getting the shots and it's gotten a little worse, but it's been about the same for a good length of time. Yeah. And I haven't had the shots going back and forth.
Well, the way he always described it is it was like just having a fist right in the middle where you could only see around the center. Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. You got good peripheral vision, but
okay.
Yeah, because he would have to kind of turn this way and then turn that way.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That's kind of like my niece who had that kind of detached retinas from birth, and for her she can see somewhat, but it's like she cocks her head sideways to look at you.
Yeah.
And that.
Well, we got a commenter here, Stevie. He says, "What happened?" Well, I don't know. What do you mean? What happened? Well, we don't know. You tell us what happened. Hey, I can put these on the screen. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, there it is. Stevie says, "That's a good question." I ask that all the time. What happened?
That's it.
Hey, a mighty wind. Fred Willard's catchphrase in A Mighty Wind.
Yeah.
Now I know Fred Willard, but now what is Mighty Wind?
I think that was the folk music version of Spinal Tap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a movie, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where they're making fun of the folk musicians. Well, the old over the hill folk musicians.
Yeah. The older guys. But Fred Willard, that was his catchphrase. What happened? Something like that.
I'm gonna go find that.
Well, that's just almost an old fart catchphrase.
Let's see. Fred.
Look around and go,
Willard.
what happened?
Find it. Fred Willard. Oops. And
that's what I posted yesterday. So there's a reason us old folks always come across as stubborn. You got to be stubborn just to get up in the morning.
let's see. Now here's Fred Willard. That's Fred Willard.
Am I here?
What happened? Let's see. Fred Willard. What happened? Oh, this is Mighty Wind.
This Christmas comes a movie so big.
I'm taking you to the underworld.
You'll swear your pants.
That's almost over.
My lucky brick.
The SpongeBob
Supposed to
movie.
be Fred
Swear
Willard.
pants. Rated PG.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened? As you know, back in 1970, I started on a series called What Happened? And every time something would go wrong, I would look at the camera and say, hey, what happened? We had a lot of fun with that and a lot of other catchphrases. I got a real red wagon. And I can't do my work. And I believe I was the first one to use the phrase, I don't think so. But it only lasted a year. And that's good because that's how you establish a cult. So I was on stage doing all my shtick, hey, what happened? And I can't do my work. And if someone would heckle me, they'd say, are you going to be on stage all night? I would say, that's right. And that'd crack up the audience. But I noticed the guy sitting down front with a long face. Nothing got to him. So I turned to the lady next to him. I said, would you hold your mirror up in front of his nose to see if he's still breathing? To see, in fact, if there's a reflection. So he started to smile. After the show, I go down and introduce myself. His name is George Menschel. He had been with a group called the Main Street Singers. Now, I was never into folk music. I'd worked some bills with some folkies, put him in the cell with a long hose on him, put him in the cell with a long hose on him. And I used to say, if he's got a long enough hose, he's going to have a lot of friends in the shower room. Folk audiences hated that joke. But I said to George, I said, seriously, you put up some great numbers. If you reform your group, I can send you out on the Starfish cruise lines. Together, we could make a fortune and you will have a ball. They used to go out, come back. They had a great time, except a couple of cruises. Dysentery broke out on the ship. I was not there. You do not want to be on a cruise ship when dysentery breaks out and be knocking on the men's room door and say, will you be coming out soon? And hear, I don't think so.
I always like that guy. Fred Willard. Oh, where's Sturge? Oh, there's Sturge.
Yo.
You still there, Sturge?
Yeah, I went out for a second.
I went out. I went and got some Fred Willard there.
Yeah, I saw the end of it. Yeah.
He did his What Happened.
Hold on, I got dryers.
Oh, good. You got those little balls in the dryers? We get those. We got those they're like little tennis balls. You put them in your dryer and it keeps the clothes from clinging together.
Yeah, I don't use that.
My David's sister gave him some of those.
I guess if I had them, I might throw them in there, but
well, they make a racket in your dryer. They bounce around in the dryer.
Hang on, y'all. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, I'm going to play some Ian Bremmer now, who getting back to the New World Order. Let's see. I'm going to see how to do that. Oh, yeah, here we go. This guy is he has this thing called the Eurasia Group, and he has I find his observations really pretty good.
The United States under the Trump administration and the Kremlin share one rather important strategic goal in foreign policy, which they both believe that a weak European Union or even a disintegrated European Union is a preferable foreign policy goal. And the Kremlin is pleased, and they've made very clear, not just with Trump's Politico interview, but also with the national security strategy. The Kremlin is broadly aligned with the goals that are elucidated there. Now, usually, in this environment, if the Kremlin says they like what you're doing, you probably should rethink what you're doing. And certainly European leaders, almost all of them, perhaps not Viktor Orban in Hungary, but almost all of them, are going to be deeply concerned about what they've heard from the Trump as president, as also from the Trump administration over the past few days, that feels like the United States is becoming an adversary. And, Europe has a lot of adversaries these days.
And what about this national security strategy? I mean, is it reshaping expectations when it comes to any Ukrainian peace deal? And
did you see that, what he's talking about there, Jack, that national security strategy? The thing about that, it's a document, that the U.S. produces, analyzing our threats around the world, but it reads like something that Trump himself wrote for a government document. It reads like one of his tweets. I mean, where he's just trashing Europe and bragging on himself. And I mean, I can see why Europe just freaked out at this thing. I mean,
it's I think Trump, everything for Trump is about Trump. So it's where he does business. Like I was saying, the sovereign wealth funds there in the Gulf states are very important to him. And I don't know, his whole deal with Europe, I think maybe very much because he keeps running up against European bureaucracy, and it's pissed him off. Every time he tries to do something, they regulate him too much.
I think it's a real puzzle to try and figure out what his animosity towards Europe comes from. I've spent a lot of time analyzing that man and reading about his background and everything. And one thing I always thought was odd, that growing up so wealthy, that his family was so wealthy, and he had a mother who was born in Scotland, but they did not travel. They did not go abroad at all. I mean, he didn't do the tour of Europe as a kid or something. One of the striking things in his first term, I remember when he went to the first NATO meeting or something in Europe, and the story was that it was his first time that he had been there as president, and so I always thought that was odd. That he had he has no background with Europe at all. I mean, but that doesn't really explain why he's so hostile toward it.
Well, all of it, I think most of his wives came from basically, I guess, what we'd call backward European countries at the time.
True.
Yeah,
that's actually another point. Is he married? I guess Marla Maples wasn't from, but Ivanka and Melania. Huh. Well, and of course, another interesting thing about his background in his early career, well, actually up until maybe in his 50s or so, when he was getting started in real estate in Manhattan, he always claimed that his ancestors, his grandfather, was from Norway, but he was from Germany. In fact, you could see bios and profiles of Trump from those days in his early. And the thinking is that when he was getting started in Manhattan real estate, that there were a lot of Jewish businessmen, business leaders there, that he didn't want them to know that he came from Germany, that his grandfather was German. And I guess I don't know, but he always claimed that his grandfather was from Norway. I mean, really.
Well, that may have been what his father decided.
Could be.
When you're his father's age, there were several times when it was not popular to be of German descent, and a lot of people either changed their name or changed their ethnicity.
Yeah, that definitely could be, because I think that may be where he got it.
It's
possible.
I have no idea where Trump gets what he does. Enough on it. But I do think that the interesting thing is that, like the guy said, is that Trump's goal in Europe and Putin's goals in Europe coincide.
Lieber Friedrich.
And that's where they look like they're partners. Whereas in Venezuela, Trump and Putin's goals are totally different.
Well, see, I think that gets back to my three kings theory. Is I think the deal he wants to make, it's like a big real estate deal. Is Putin's sphere of influence is Europe. I'll leave you alone. I'll support you in Europe. Same to China about Taiwan, and then their deal is they stay out of the Americas, North and South America, and it's all his. I mean, I really see that as what he's doing.
I wonder how much influence people like Elon Musk have, who is very definitely into right-wing nativist politics. Musk is going over in Europe funding some of this shit.
Oh, yeah. And then another key player along the lines of what you're saying is Steve Bannon, who's very active in right-wing politics in Europe, to the extent that, in Italy, he was so involved and lived there when he was sort of banished in the first term, when Trump threw him out for a while. He went to Europe and was very active in right-wing parties, and in Italy in particular, to the extent, and he created this foundation in Italy that was based in an old monastery, and it turned out to be just another classic Steve Bannon scam, where he was scamming people for donations, and the Italian government indicted him. But he got this right-wing woman who's prime minister or whatever now elected, and she shut down the investigation, so that went away. So Steve Bannon's very involved in Europe.
I don't know. It just one, it's a little chaotic. The way Trump, of course, anything Trump's involved with is chaotic. Because, he's got an attention span of a 2-year-old. But that's kind of the point. I'm saying I agree with you, but I'm saying there's some strategy underneath the chaos of his world activity. I mean, is that he wants control of North and South America, and his deal for China and Russia is you can have your regions, or somebody in his administration does. I'm never, it's a little like Kremlin watching. Who's in charge? We know, what's his name? Secretary of State. He's not in charge of anything because he can't even protect his fellow Cubans.
Yeah, I mean, and he's focused on changing the font.
Yeah.
that's his sphere of influence is fonts.
I was very surprised that Cuba got with him as Secretary of State, and Cuba gets on the bad boy list.
Yeah.
You know, not just Cuba, but Cubans, because there was an article about some old guy from Cuba that was trying to become a citizen. They wouldn't let him the other day. And I'm going, wait a minute, where's the Secretary of State there helping his fellow Cubans? But
well, I listened to the. See that this is the German. Oh, here's the UN Secretary. The UN Secretary General was over in Berlin, and just I guess today meeting with the German, and this is where he got pretty strong about Russia being a threat.
A signal that Europe is ready to take on more responsibility. A signal that burden sharing is not just a slogan, but a concrete commitment. And a signal to any adversary that NATO remains strong, united, and fully capable of defending our territory.
See, they were talking about what you were saying earlier. Is they're talking about Germany is at this press conference, at this meeting, they announced Germany is building up its military in anticipation of a war with Russia. I mean, it's that simple. And that's what the Secretary General is talking about here.
One thing I've noticed over the last year or so is that the European military manufacturers are increasing their production because of the Ukraine war, but also Europe itself is trying to move away from being so dependent on technology from the United States.
Right. Yeah.
But, to have
and see that's something that is could be really dumb that Trump is provoking them to do that. I mean, it could be a real challenge to our own defense industry.
Well, it's to our defense industry, but also we basically, by owning the really good military stuff that we've owned in the last 80 years and supplying it to Europe, that made them somewhat obligated to us. You know, if you're the one supplying the bullets, you know, and they need bullets, they're going to say, yes, sir.
I know. I mean, that's always been the trade-off. Our spending, you know, is keeping them dependent on us. It's good for our industry.
Mm-hmm.
Stirs back from the dryer.
Oh,
yes.
Well, did you get the clothes folded?
Yeah, I don't fold. I might fold jeans too, you know.
I
just, you know.
I put stuff in the dryer and it dries. Like right now, I've got a load in there and they're getting all wrinkled. So I'll kick it on and think, you know, for 15 minutes and say, I'll be back in 15 minutes and kind of fluff them up a little bit. And then I'll forget about them for another day. So it takes me a week to do a load of laundry.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm in a community situation, so you know you got to get in there and get them done and get back out.
I finally made
no folding.
I finally made a new cooking video I haven't put up yet, Jack. I did a shrimp boil in the slow cooker. I made it as lazy. I didn't peel anything. I didn't even peel the onion. I just put a whole onion in there. Because you know, when you put a whole onion in a slow cooker, it peels itself.
Yeah. You just have to fish the roots and outside skin out. So
they kind of separate themselves. You know, it's magical. I did the same thing with the corn. I just put the corn in husk and all, and after 6 hours in the slow cooker, they had just done all the work themselves.
well, you got all the flavor of all that. I trying to remember one of the TV chefs recommended on making soup stock is to just throw the whole onion in, chop it up, skin it on, and said it added color and flavor or whatever.
That's true. I mean, I've made stock before that, you know, with the leftover. You know, I made like when I had a roast beef. You know, all the bones and just all the refuse, you know, of your meal that you just throw in there and with some water and make broth, and then you just strain all the junk out and throw it away.
Yeah, that's what I do with the. You know, the Costco chicken or whatever, I buy one because you can buy them cheaper than you can buy a raw chicken, and bring it home and eat what I want and stuff, and make a little.
Oh, you mean they're roasted chicken? They're
rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, I enjoy doing my own rotisserie chicken, but you really don't. You're right. I mean, you don't save any money doing your own.
The whole
Plus, you get it home and you're ready to eat. So.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I'll throw the carcass, the bones and stuff. After I bone the chicken, I'll just throw the skin and the bones in a pot and
save the bones for Mr. Jones, because Henry don't eat no meat.
Now, what's that from?
That's some song.
Well, you know, these grocery store and Costco, all the grocery stores now have their rotisserie chickens. But you know that I learned there's this YouTube channel that they do videos about little mini documentaries about mostly restaurants that had failed. And they do like the rise and fall of different, and they did the rise and fall of Boston. What was it called? The
Boston Market.
Boston Market. They did the rise and fall of Boston Market. And what happened to Boston Market is they popularized the rotisserie chicken that was their signature item. And then the grocery stores saw that, started doing their own and undercutting and that put Boston put them out of business. It was the grocery stores, you know, copying what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, Boston Market was kind of one of those. It was like an ethnic food, you know. It came in something nobody had experienced before, and they all rushed to it, and then next thing you know, it's gone.
Yeah. And I did I got a air fryer that also has a rotisserie on it, but it's not real big, so I can only do like a 4-pound chicken in it. And I got one the other day, it was like 4.5 pounds, and I had to truss that thing up. I had so much rope around that thing because the rotisserie area is so small, you know. But it was good. What's good in that is I do Cornish hens in the rotisserie on the.
Oh, that would work.
So that fits.
I've got not the air fryer, but the convection oven countertop, and it's got a rotisserie attachment, but I've never used it. But I use that thing a lot.
Yeah, the rotisserie attachment is fun.
You know, I've just never played with it, and
yeah, it's a fun toy.
And I living by myself, I've got to I try not to cook a whole lot of stuff at one time, because then I have leftovers for a week, and I get tired of leftovers after the third day.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of frozen stuff lately.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, you know, pot pies and
Oh, I was
Swanson,
just going to say, yeah, pot pies are the best.
Swanson family dinners or TV dinners, I think. You know, just easy and get it over with. And
Yeah, we grew up on those Swanson dinners.
oh yeah,
I always
I
like
remember when they
I always
came out.
like the little I always like the little applesauce thing in Swanson dinners. They had not applesauce, but cooked apples. It was a small thing, and they'd put a little pastry thing in it that was so good. I could still taste that.
Yeah, my mom, that was godsend for her. You know, no more cooking, just stick the thing in the oven.
Yeah, I started, when I started on the Manjaro, which was for diabetes and weight loss, I've lost 35 pounds on it. But what happened is the way you lose weight on it is you lose your appetite.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's what kind of got me doing less cooking. And, my Lazy Man Cooks videos, I kind of got away from, because I was doing what you're saying, Stir. I was more into like pot pies and frozen things, just anything easy and quick, But
Yeah.
I'm starting to get back into it now.
Well, I've done a lot of experimenting trying to get different things I like down to a one portion that I can cook.
Yeah.
I've done fairly good with my breads. I can do a one person biscuit pretty easy. Or the same thing with making homemade bread. You can, you just add a little yeast to however much flour you want to make for your bread, and add a little water, and you've got bread pretty quick. But there's some like chili. There's no way to make chili without eating it for a week if you live by yourself.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah. I'm getting ready to make some chili, and I'm going to try again. I always try not to make too much, but it's impossible. It's impossible to avoid making.
I think maybe I'm playing with an idea is that I make up my chili meat, and then I cook my beans, and then I freeze them up, and I've got these little containers that contain about a cup. And so you take a cup of beans and a cup of the chili mix and put it in a bowl and heat it up, and it comes out okay. It's not real good, but it's okay.
So you're saying you freeze the ingredients and not the whole thing?
Yeah. Just I make the chili meat up. I cook my hamburger and ground pork is what I did the last time, and then add my chili powder and tomatoes and tomato paste and so on. And then I freeze that up in like that little cup container, and then I keep the beans separate and add them later, and freeze them up too. And it's I make a lot of use out of it. I've got a chest freezer, and I make a lot of use out of it in my refrigerator freezer and some of this stuff. Of just basic ingredients like where I talk about making the chicken stock, I'll put it in those cup containers. And then when I do a stir fry, I can add some chicken broth and add a little flavor. And what is it that they call the umami or whatever that the meat will add to it. But if I get to chopping up and making a stew or a curry, I always end up making way too much.
What else? When you do the chicken pot pie stir, do you put the aluminum foil around the edges?
Well, I started doing that, but I usually do the turkey ones for some reason. They taste better. But yeah, I got to putting tinfoil around the edge. I never did it before. I don't know what that is.
I actually found I made a video about that about how to cut the tinfoil in a special way that makes it easier. Just trying to find it.
I kind of just tear a strip off about inch and a half wide, and wrap it around there.
Oh, here it is. I'm gonna play this. This is my chicken pot pie trick. Let's see. Maybe make that bigger.
And likes better than frozen. Fun with aluminum.
Yeah, this is my chicken pot pie tip. How to do that. You know, this darn video, it on YouTube. This video, I can't remember. It was like it got like 25,000 views. I don't know. It's just something about. But anyway,
Fun with aluminum foil. Almost nothing lazy man likes better than frozen chicken pot pie. But not when you burn the edges in the oven. Tastes like charcoal and the insides are trying to be soup. Not a fan of the aggravation of putting this aluminum foil around the edge so that they don't burn in the oven. But there's a hack for that. Fold it. Fold it again. Where it bends right there, cut a little half circle in here. See that? Half circle. Then you fold it open. You got your hole to put around your pot pie. Don't forget applesauce with your pot pie. Man, they really go together.
you know, the other thing I like is peas with pot pie.
Yeah.
Oh, here we got more photos. Let's see what's going on with the photos. What channel is this? Oh, this is what happened? Anyway. Oh yeah, here they're talking about the photos. Almost there.
Studio. So, Lisa, I think you heard Garcia say he wants people to make judgments on their own about what these pictures show us. But we don't have any context, right? That's important to say. Still, do you agree with him that this release is helpful to the public to start to try to wrap their heads around what happened here?
It's a difficult question to answer, Chris, because I don't know that this release in particular adds very much to our understanding of what has happened. It certainly indicates that House Democrats, particularly on the Oversight Committee, remain firmly committed to trying to investigate and get to the bottom of this. But these 19 images don't necessarily tell me things that I didn't know before I walked into the studio and sat across the table from you today. Am I hopeful that other releases of similar images that were produced by the Epstein estate to the committee?
Sounds like they don't have much to talk about on these photos. They seem to be underwhelming everybody. We got a viewer here from Saudi Arabia. Hi, watching from Saudi Arabia. Well, hello. Hello, Saudi Arabia. We were just about to wrap up, but I'm pleased to see Saudi Arabia in the house.
Well, now, what does Saudi Arabia think of this whole thing?
Yeah, what do you think, Jim? JMSA is.
It was what I used to enjoy about the early internet was, getting people's opinions from countries other than ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got into that. Did you guys ever get into CB radio?
No.
CB on the road, yeah. I used it a lot.
Did you?
Oh,
what
yeah.
was your handle?
Oh, I just make something up every time.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't interested in all that.
Well, I had a ham radio.
No, I got a friend that does ham, but I use CB in the car for travel, on the road.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was like 9, 10. I really got into ham radio, but getting back to what you're saying, that you could get on that thing, and I talked to people all over the world.
That's right.
On that. It was fascinating. I mean, and I thought a lot since. That was really the internet.
It kind of was, yeah.
Ham radio and CB radio, it was kind of the internet. And
I think that growing up like I did out there in rural Missouri, you really felt isolated. So anything that could reach out, So there would be things you could listen to.
One of these days, I'll tell you my big wheels rolling CB story.
Oh, I like the sound of that. I used to talk to truckers on the, because I lived in Orlando, right near the interstate, I-4, and the truckers would come up and down, and some of them I got to know, and I would recognize.
Yeah.
And
Teddy bear.
We had conversation. I mean, my screen name, or not screen name, handle was Alley Cat.
There you go.
Was mine, but I remember there was this one trucker, he always had the same sign off. When he signed off, he'd say, I forget his name, he'd say, and this is so and so, and may the Lord take a liking to you. that was always his sign off. What is your story?
Well, it's too long to tell now. It was in New Mexico. It was from Clovis up to Raton Pass, and but it's a good story.
Well, we'll save that.
Yeah, I'll get you.
I'm thinking about doing these on Fridays. What about having like a regular schedule of Fridays for chats? Would that work, you think? Or
try it?
Or maybe some other day.
Try it and see. Yeah.
What do you think, Jack?
I don't know that the day doesn't make much difference to me. It's just if I can remember, and I'm not. This time seems to work well for me because it lets me drink a little coffee, because I don't get up till 8:30, 9 o'clock most days.
Yeah.
Craig, how do you put a photo on your sign-in thing?
On Trail Mix or on here?
On this. I see it.
Oh, well, Jamie knows all about that because she did it. When you sign, let's see. If you go and click, if you look on your screen there, and there's a little thing that says edit.
Edit. Okay.
Oh, but it doesn't have. There's somewhere. Oh, I see. No, that's different.
I'll find it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's somewhere in these little. Let's see. I should look at mine. Oh, I see. Those little 3 dots up in the right top corner of your screen, if you see, there's a thing that says Edit Avatar.
There you go.
Edit Avatar.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like the guy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't figured out how to get like a schedule that maybe people would weekly or something. I just kind of do it haphazardly as it occurs, and I've got to send the email alerts out, stuff like that. But
I saw Jamie said she's getting a new computer, so that's her thing for the day.
Well,
that'll eat up your day. I thought about giving her some sympathy, but
I always get a kick out of it. I enjoy setting up a new computer, but I'm a little nerdy.
I would like I had a problem with one of my computers one time. It took to somebody who knew what they were doing, and they cleaned all the stuff up that irritated me. And I got to thinking that's what I need to do every time I get a computer. Just go and tell them how I wanted it set up.
Yeah.
Because, they always put all this crap trying to sell stuff. But you got to sit there and spend a week cleaning off.
Now, when you going back to South Carolina, Stir?
I'm not sure. It'll be after Christmas sometime.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to wrap up with one of my favorites here. Let's see, we'll play
you might look for Teddy Bear by Red Sovine.
Oh,
here we go.
Let's see. Let me go look for that. Let me get into YouTube. And
that's one of his trucking songs, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That was a trucking song.
Oh, yeah.
It was about a kid on the side of the road talking to the truckers.
Really? Teddy Bear.
Really sappy, sentimental things.
Teddy Bear, and what was the rest of it? Teddy Bear what?
Red Sovine was the artist.
Oh, got it. It actually filled it in. It was already going up there.
At Boone's
It'll be there somewhere.
Okay.
Oops. Oh, it's an ad. Okay.
When the cowboy sings.
I was on the outskirts of a little southern town.
Wait a minute, I've heard this. I know this song.
Oh, I've played it.
The old CB was blaring away on channel 19.
Yeah.
When there came a little boy's voice on the radio line. And he said, "Breaker 19, is anyone there?"
Breaker.
"Come on back, truckers, and talk to Teddy Bear." Well, I keyed the mic and I said, "You got it, Teddy Bear." And the little boy's voice came back on the air. "Appreciate the break. Who we got on that end?" I told him my handle, and then he began. Now, I'm not supposed to bother you fellas out there. Mom says you're busy and for me to stay off the air. But you see, I get lonely and it helps to talk. Because that's about all I can do. I'm crippled and can't walk. Well, I came back and told him to fire up that mic, that I'd talk to him as long as he liked. "This was my dad's radio," the little boy said. "But I guess it's mine and Mom's now, because my daddy's dead." Dad had a wreck about a month ago. He was trying to get home. And
I hate to laugh, but I mean, you can't help
Well, it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I remember that song. That is a classic. I've forgotten that one.
I think there was even a part 2 on that.
Oh, Lord.
I forget what it was.
It was popular. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's Pat Boone's father-in-law, I think.
Oh, is it really?
I think. I'm not sure. I know it was one of those old country fellers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Red. So.
Well, that was. I mean, I really did do that. I talked to truckers on my CB all the time. It was. In fact, when I used to I used to go on IMUS, a lot of times I would think, this is kind of like when I used to talk to truckers on my CB. It was the same kind of conversations.
Well, I was going from Clovis Raton Pass, like I was telling you. And every now and then it was flat and empty, forever. There's no other cars on the road, nothing but flat farmland or whatever they do up there, New Mexico. And so every now and then I'd pick the mic up and go, big wheels rolling, and, put it back down because nobody was there. And so I just kept doing that. And I had an old car, so I breezed through a stop sign at some point outside of a town and picked up the mic and said, big wheels rolling, and did it again. And I put the mic down and a voice come over the radio and says, why don't you get off the fucking road? And I looked in my mirror and there was 2 trucks that had been hidden in a defile, and they came up over the rise right behind me, and I pulled out in front of them. And so they had to slam on brakes, blah, blah. And then I sang to them. And so I couldn't pull off because I was in town. So I was pulling a trailer, And so I finally found a place where I could pull off, and I see the 2 trucks go by, and one of them had the mic, and he goes, that's the smartest thing you did all day. Okie dokie.
Because they would get angry when people didn't take it seriously, because they were so serious about their CB.
Yeah, that was a thing for a while. Yeah, but it was useful on the road.
Yeah. Well, and that's how you knew when there were Smokies. They'd say they'd tell you where the Smokies are.
Yeah. And how far to a gas station when you're in, out there in the prairie.
That was a whole culture. It was.
All right.
Big wheels rolling.
Well, there's a lot of people got into it. I know down there in the country, there's some people that basically got into the whole radio thing and ended up boosting the power on their CDs and stuff like that. Doing it illegally, but hell, they were doing that.
Back up and throw a line into a creek or something. I heard of that.
Yeah.
Increase the antenna.
Well, I'm going to play my favorite video right now and go make lunch. When should we get back together?
Next time.
Next time. All right.
Yeah.
We'll
see you later. Y'all take care.
Here's my favorite.
And I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That was President Trump at halftime of the Commanders-Lions NFL game, receiving significant and sustained boos as he was featured on the stadium's jumbotrons.
Okay, I'm Lady Mau Mau, Craig's built-in emergency brake. If this wasn't enough for you, sign up for the newsletter. It's free, it's thoughtful, and it occasionally makes sense.